On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we pick our top 5 OU plays to do an In the Weeds breakdown of. Then the Thunder are 1 win away from the NBA championship. We break it all down in FGTB and we give you our winners and losers of the week. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Visit our website, okbreakdown.com, and make sure you follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. All right. Our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, June 18th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. One more. One more, and we're going to have a parade, Ted.
I know it. And
we'll get to it in FGTV, but one more, we're going to have a dang parade in Oklahoma City.
That game 5 felt significant.
Indeed. We'll get to it. We're going to start with what we always start with. But one thing, we're trying to finalize our sponsors for football season over the next couple weeks. So if you're interested in advertising on the podcast during the season, you can email us at theoklahomabreakdown@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, okbreakdown.com, and you can click on the little contact tab there and get a hold of us. So if you're interested in advertising on the pod in the season, holler at us. We'll have a conversation.
There you go.
It's the summer. There'll be a little recruiting news to talk about over these next couple weeks, and we'll probably talk about it here and there. But this is one of those, it's the time of year where you got to start getting a little creative, Ted.
Yeah. When there's light content, you got to generate some yourself, right?
And you and we have been talking about doing in the weeds videos of the best plays in OU history, or at least the best plays in modern OU history where you can find quality footage of it.
Right.
Some of like the old stuff from the 70s and 80s. We're going to try to do some of those some of those plays. It's just kind of hard to find quality footage, but we'll work on it. We're also may need to educate ourselves on the option a little bit for some of those.
I've got an option play in.
Yes. Yes, that is such good news. Okay. We did not compare these lists, but we are picking our top 5 OU plays that we want to do an In the Weeds on. If you have not watched our In the Weeds videos on YouTube, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go over there, learn some ball. We have a lot of fun doing them. I also think we're going to do our best to try to get a guy that was involved in the play to come on and break it down with us. So like the Superman play, I know a guy.
Oh my gosh.
We can try. We've talked about it with Roy on here before. We'll try to get him on to break it down with us. We got to make sure schedules line up and all that stuff, but we're going to try our best to get a third guy that was involved in these plays to come on and talk about them. But let's get started. Top 5 OU plays to do an In the Weeds video on. What's your first play?
It's kind of a random one, but maybe not all that random. I just think it's I think it's an awesome play and how it was all set up. Baker in his long run against TCU in the Big 12 championship game in 2017. They run the screen we all see coming from the backside, the shallow 3x1 screen. They set that up, run it all year, and people overplay it whenever they expect it, and They had a nice little quarterback keeper off the backside of it. Think the center folded around. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and I didn't go watch it. I just remembered it's one of the first ones I wanted to look at because there's a lot going on in that play. Um, I don't know. That one's a lot of fun, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it offensively and how it all just kind of unfolds. It's pretty cool. Do you know that you remember that play?
I remember the play. So I did not see you having that one on it. I wasn't, for whatever reason, wasn't expecting a lot of QB run game on your list. But can I tell you, I'm really glad you picked that one because my list doesn't have any Baker plays on it. And I tried. I was like looking, I was just like, I don't know. I like these other plays better. And there's a personal touch to a couple of them. And then some of them are just some of the most iconic plays in OU history. But I didn't have a Baker play on it. So great job, Ted.
There we go. There we go. And I don't know. I thought it was a cool play. And you got to have some Baker representation on this list for sure.
No doubt. All right. My first play, I knew you weren't going to pick it, at least first. It's the most iconic play in the history of OU football. October 6th, 2001, number 3 OU versus number 5 Texas. Sooners win 14-3. The most significant play, some play known as the Superman play. And here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Do you have it? It sounds like you're about to give me a rebuttal.
No.
Okay.
No rebuttal.
Okay. Good, because that would have been silly, and you know it. But I think arguably the most iconic play in OU football history involves two of the best OU players of all time. The situation, like I went back and watched it, and you kind of forget that it's only 7-3. Like if Texas puts a drive there together, they can go win the game. Little over 2 minutes left. And the fact that you know that there's Texas fans, even though they weren't able to move the ball all game long, there are some Texas fans going, here we go. We're going to drive at the length of the field and win the football game. And for that to happen when you probably are thinking something along those lines mentally, it just rips the hearts out of every Texas fan on the planet. And that's what's better than that, man. Like it's number one on my list.
Yeah, and the setup is cool. You know, we did the field goal punt right before it, and you know, it's 7-3. It's not a super long field goal. We have a really good field goal kicker, but Coach Stoops decides to punt, trust the defense, and Texas makes a mistake fielding it, and so the setup is cool. What I was going to say earlier is, you know, people have heard me talk about it. I think most people have heard Roy talk about it. Most people have heard Coach Stoops and Mike Stoops. I've never heard Coach Venables talk about it.
Well,
that would be cool if we could get him on In the Weeds to talk about that, right?
If only we knew a guy. Yeah, let's try to get BV on to talk about it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, may have to try that.
Okay. I'm aiming for these In the Weeds breakdowns to be like 10 to 12 minutes. So if BV is going to come on about it, then we can make an exception for the head football coach. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, what's your next play?
Maybe one of the most fun football games I've ever been to, and an amazing play that, for whatever reason, just kind of gets lost. I feel like it's not talked about nearly as much as it should be. The strip sack that Eric Stryker had in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama, and the scoop score touchdown that came off of it.
That obviously one of my favorite plays ever.
Incredible. And, you know, that game owned them for almost the entire night. And then they got back in a position where they had a chance to get back in the football game, and that blew the whole thing open. It was awesome.
Geno Grissom with like the what can only be described as the Michael Jordan Space Jam stretch to score the touchdown.
Yeah. And then the immediate cut to Adrian Peterson looking like Debo off Friday in the flannel on the sideline. Awesome.
That is a fantastic one. Not on my list, surprisingly, but a fantastic one. I like that one. I think people really enjoy that. I don't know if that one's overly complicated. I think he just beats the tackle clean, but it doesn't matter. We'll break it down.
Some coverage on the back end is pretty cool. I went and looked at it just to make sure there's some stuff there to talk about. But yeah, and he wasn't beating a bum left tackle for Alabama.
Like, Alabama had no bums at that point in time.
No, they did not.
Go look at that roster. Maybe we'll talk about it when we do it. That roster is insane. My second play, October 9th, 2021, number 6 OU versus number 21 Texas. Sooners win 55-48 on a Kennedy Brooks run. Remember, this is the game where we were down 28-7 in the first quarter, made the switch from Rattler to Caleb Williams. Just by far my favorite game that I've done as part of the radio broadcast.
Oh my God, that game was just incredible, start to finish.
And it was not fun at the start. What are you talking about? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't fun, but it was like what happened in the beginning made it fun.
Correct.
It was just like an absolute roller coaster all day long.
You don't feel the joy of Kennedy Brooks's touchdown run unless you feel the pain of that first quarter.
So much happened in that football game.
And we'll try to get Kennedy
on that football game.
Yeah, we got to get Kennedy on to try to break that one. But I remember it felt like they're setting up Burkich to kick a game-winning field goal. It's much better when you just run the ball into the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a fun one to break down. And there's a lot of just great downfield blocking from wide receivers. Braden Willis has an awesome block on that play. So yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
Yep. That one is that's like a crazy cool unique play that I guess did they run that one earlier in the game, and they only ran it twice that I can remember.
Herb Street pointed out on the broadcast like they ran this exact play. Remember, it's the direct snap.
Direct snap, little fake toss thing, and it's very cool play.
All right, what's your next play? Number 3. By the way, are you ranking these in like your favorite order, or is there no order at all?
No order at all.
Okay.
And this next one, it's like I thought like this one was the one I debated making the list, and I've got a backup just in case, and maybe the backup is actually better. But the Rodney Anderson run against K-State in 2017, crazy football game. We're tied, and it's like the same situation as the Kennedy Brooks. They're trying to set up, it's 35-35, trying to set up a game-winning field goal, and they're just trying to move it from one hash to the other, and Rodney Anderson takes it around the corner for a touchdown to put the game away. Awesome play.
When he was healthy,
dude.
If he could have stayed healthy, but he was right. I will never forget what it was. Sony Michel and Nick Chubb were both on the field for that Rose Bowl, and to me, it was like, no, Rodney Anderson's the best running back on the field in this game, which is saying something, man.
Crazy. He was incredibly, when he was healthy, just unbelievably strong, fat. He had it all. Absolutely.
We can get Rodney to come on and talk about that one for sure.
Okay. My backup, I guess I'll get to my alternate after we go through our 5.
Okay. I've got an alternate as well.
All right.
So just I had an extra 1 or 2 just in case we had any crossover.
Okay.
My third play, October 13th, 2012. This one is clearly a little personal. I was playing in this game. Number 13 OU versus number 15 Texas. The Sooners win 63-21. Should have been 63-15. By the way, they scored on the last play of the game. It was ridiculous. Very annoying. But there are 2 incredible plays from this game, and I need your help picking the one we're going to do.
Okay.
And maybe eventually we do them both. This game had the 95-yard Damian Williams touchdown run
Mm-hmm.
and the Trey Miller hurdle truck stick play. Those plays were both in this game, along with a gajillion Blake Bell touchdown runs.
Yeah, man.
I
If I'm picking between those two,
because hear me out. The Damian Williams run, there's a lot to it. Like
mm-hmm.
we're in Sooner personnel. We got two fullbacks in the game. How does the defense adjust? Kenny Stills block, the way it's blocked up front. Like there's a lot to break down. It's a beautifully blocked play. Trey's was just an amazing individual effort on boot.
Yeah. How about this? We do the 95-yarder, and then as a little bonus, you throw in the truck stick that actually happened as well.
Just show it.
Just show it.
Just be like, oh, yeah, remember this happened.
Don't forget about this one. Yeah.
I feel like that play deserves its own video, though. It is such a fantastic play.
Well, hey, I'm down for doing another one.
Okay. You said it. You heard him.
Double release in the weeds.
2012. What a great game.
Yeah.
All right. What's your next one?
This is my option play. Roy Williams, which this is my favorite Roy Williams play. 2001 Nebraska. I think it's the first series of the game. Nebraska runs a lead option over to our sideline, and they just happen to have like the parabolic mic for the TV broadcast over there, so you can actually hear what a Roy Williams tackle sounds like up close and personal. And he just comes and annihilates everyone. It is so awesome. And there's some really cool like option technique played in there by some other guys to help make the play happen. But one of my favorite Roy Williams plays, maybe my favorite. Yes.
You and I have watched that play many times together, and every time
Love it.
You let out the most what can only be described as like diabolical chuckle.
It's hard not to laugh.
It's just kind of
it's like, what the hell was that? Amazing.
Dude, he was such a good football player.
So good.
I'm going to rely on you to get Roy to break that down with us.
Okay. We could do that.
We'll try to get Stryker for the Bama one. We've tried to get Baker on a lot, so we'll find, I don't know, one of the O linemen. Maybe Creed will do it for us.
Yeah.
That 2017, he was playing, right?
Yeah,
right?
I think he was like, I don't know if he was starting, but I think he was.
We can get one of those O linemen.
Yeah.
We can get one of those O linemen. That'll be fun. Okay, my fourth play, January 3rd, 2001. Good day. Number 1 OU versus number 2 Florida State. Sooners win 13-2. And I don't know why this play, I feel like it doesn't get talked about that as much as it should, because it's just, I don't know, it's been a while now, but everyone remembers the Quentin Griffin touchdown run to make it, like to seal it, where everyone looked around and went, oh my gosh, we're going to win the national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
But 3rd and 6 from the 10 with a little over 8.5 minutes to go in the game. The score's 6-0. And just an awesome disguise on the blitz. I think it was Ante Jones. Comes clean. Now, Chris Winke's credit, he avoids him and has to take off scrambling. Rocky punches it out. Roy recovers it. And it was 2 plays later, Quentin Griffin runs in the end zone to put the thing away, where that lead felt like absolutely impossible for Florida State to overcome. But that play, the disguise of the blitz, I mean, they're showing 5 up. Ante Jones is kind of tucked on the slot. He doesn't look like he's coming. You can't see a safety capped over it. So, I mean, it's a heck of a disguise. He comes clean, forces Winky to scramble. Rocky punches out. There's just so much in that play. Just a massive, massive play that was pivotal in the last national championship we've won. It's been a while, man.
It's been a while. Yeah. And that's an awesome play. There's a bunch. You just kind of you look at the score and feel like it was a boring game or whatever, but there's so many just unbelievable defensive plays in that game. I mean, it's late and it feels like the game is over, but Florida State's got a chance. They're at the 50 trying to convert and they throw one in the end zone that's going to be a touchdown. And Derek Strait, naturally makes an incredible play to knock away a deep ball that would have been a touchdown that puts them, they're an onside kick away from throwing into the end zone again. So yeah, there's a bunch of hidden gems in that one. That would be a perfect one.
I figured Rocky would come on with us to talk about that one.
Oh yeah. No problem.
No problem. No problem. Come on, Rocky. All right, what's your last play? What do you got?
2003 OU Alabama in Tuscaloosa. The fake punt and then touchdown bomb to Brandon Jones sequence. Back-to-back plays.
Okay.
Alabama had just gone down the field. We had controlled most of the game. It was low scoring, but our defense was playing real well. And then they go down the field, score a touchdown, and that place is loud. The stadium's like caving in on us. Coach Stoops calls a fake punt, backed up, that, breaks down the sideline to Michael Thompson. And then next play action, max protect, one receiver route, just throw it all the way down the field for a touchdown. It's awesome.
I like that one. Who are we going to try to get for that one? Jay White?
Good question. We try to get Jay White. Yeah.
Okay.
Try and get Jay White on.
We need the listeners to apply pressure to all these people to come on and do this with us.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, if we can't get anyone scheduled, we'll just do it ourselves. Fine. All right, my last play. This one's just a special one. And guys, we are going to do some of like the classic OU plays, like the Keith Jackson reverse, like that stuff. We'll do some of those down the line. I want to try to get some higher quality footage than what you can find on YouTube. We'll see if we can track that down. We'll do our best. But we will do some of the stuff from the glory days. Don't worry. This was more of like a modern list. Yep. Since 2000 is kind of what we were thinking. And I've got December 7th, 2013, number 17 OU versus number 6 Oklahoma State, and quite possibly the coldest football game ever. Sooners end up winning 33-24. Big righty out of the bullpen, man.
Yep.
Blake Bell, game-winning drive, throws an absolute dart to Jalen Saunders on the corner route. And it wasn't – at no point did it really feel like we were going to win that game until we did.
Right.
I think that's the best way to describe it. We were a banged-up football team. We weren't as good as we'd been the couple years before. But the fact that if OSU would have won that game, they would have won the Big 12 championship and gone to a BCS Bowl. And we just ripped their hearts out on their own field with the group that we had that day and our quarterback situation. It's an all-time memory for me.
I remember, I was on the sideline at that point, and the first half was not good. And you guys come out for the second half.
We could barely move the ball.
I know. And come out the second half, I'm like, okay, it can't get worse than what it was in the first half. And like the first play of I don't know if it's the first play, it's definitely the first series offense.
It was the first. It was Kendall Thompson's first pass. And we're coming off the sideline. You want to know what Josh Heupel told him in the huddle?
Don't throw in the deep ball.
Don't throw the post. And what's he do, Ted? I mean, he literally said that in the huddle on the sideline right before we jogged out on the field to run the play.
Oh my gosh.
And he threw the post. And he punted it to the other team.
Yep. And it was like, okay, it's not our day. But Blake Bell saves the day.
I think I think we can get the dozer on to talk about that one. All right, let's recap your five. You've got Baker's run against TCU in 2017.
Yes.
You've got the Eric Stryker sack strip fumble, Geno Grissom touchdown against Bama in the Sugar Bowl.
Yes.
You've got 2017 Rodney Anderson's run to beat K-State.
Yes.
You've got Roy Williams just being the best tackling defensive back of his generation
Yep.
against Nebraska in 2001, just blowing up the option. And then 2003, OU Bama, the fake punt, and then bomb to Brandon Jones sequence.
Yep.
I will try to track all those down.
Yep. They're there. I watched them all this morning.
That makes me so happy. But how fun is it? I was going through mine and went and watched them all. And I found myself, my wife was like, "Why are you smiling? What are you smiling about?" I was like, "I'm watching old OU football plays. That's what I'm smiling about." It was great. I had so much fun doing this, making this list.
It was hard to you think that it's just going to be something easy to pick, but then I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, what do I want to because there's a lot of them I'd love to see and go through. It's harder than you think to settle on just five.
And there's also like a personal touch to some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would I have loved to have done the play where CeeDee Lamb made the entire Texas defense miss? Yeah,
Right.
but the Blake Bell throw to Jalen Saunders, like that, it means more to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
my list. There's going to be people that disagree with our lists, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got the Superman play, Kennedy Brooks's run to beat Texas in 2021. I've got the Damian Williams 95-yard touchdown run in OU Texas in 2012. The great disguise blitz and then punch out on Chris Weinke in the national championship game. And then Blake Bell to Jalen Saunders to win Bedlam in 2013. This is going to be fun.
It is. Now, my alternate
Ooh.
is
My alternate's the Keith Jackson reverse because there actually is some pretty good footage of that one. And that play is insane. You don't realize it's not just like a straight up reverse. He goes and like engages as a blocker before he starts the reverse. It's a crazy play. I watched it last night.
it's funny that you say that. I don't know that I've ever
Don't admit this.
well, I've
Don't admit
seen
that.
the play
Okay. Whew.
a million times, but I feel like I've only seen like the back half of the play.
Oh,
Where
they
he's-
even have Ted. They've got like the end zone view of it, where you can see it develop. It. I think it's. I've always called it lead option. The dive guy leads, and then the other back is leading, and then he comes. It's an awesome play, and the best part about it is I still can't get over it. Is the announcer's like he's running out of steam, he's running out of gas as he's blowing by people. It makes no sense. I've never been more confused by a call in my life.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Um,
Just like the
my
biggest guy on the field just flying down the football field by everyone. It's like running out of gas. What are you talking about,
the
man?
announcer's trying to will him to be tackled.
And I think that's Keith Jackson on the call of Keith Jackson. Come on, Keith. Give the other Keith some love.
My alternate play is what I consider to be the greatest fake punt ever run, 2001 against Kansas State. Because there's a whole like story to it, and it was a build up for multiple years to run this play against Kansas State, and I know people remember it. It's the throwback to Hunter Wall, and he runs it in. It was a crazy game, close game. I think it was maybe 1-6, or K-State was 6 or 7 in the country, I think, at the time. Crazy game. A bunch of crazy stuff happened in that game, but that play is so perfectly designed and executed. It needs to be reviewed at some point.
Okay. I've got it down. I will say, going through all of this, I miss little numbers being next to the OU. Okay,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need to get little numbers when I'm watching these. It's like it's always number one, number eight, number three. It's I want little numbers next to the OU again.
yep, yep.
It's where we need to get, baby.
You're definitely right on that.
All right, let's talk some Thunder. One win away. But first, taking a road trip this summer? Remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway, and with the Love's app, you can save big all summer long. You can save 10 cents per gallon on gas and up to 25 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app this summer and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to fire up your cookouts than with Didier Ranch's steak burgers made from 100% premium cuts of steak. These burgers are the real deal. Juicy, flavorful, and packed with that rich, beefy taste that you love. Plus, they're shipped right to your door, so you can spend more time doing what you love and less time shopping. Head over to DidierRanch.com now and use code SOONER for a special discount on your first order. Get ready to taste the best burgers you've ever had. Proudly raised 100% in Oklahoma. Didier Ranch, steak in every bite.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. This month, to celebrate Dad and backed by popular demand, Simple Modern has released a unique OU tumbler while supplies last. Starting June 6th, grab one for your Sooner-loving dad or get one for yourself. But hurry, this limited fan-favorite design won't last long. We're also excited to announce that Simple Modern will be back this fall with a new limited edition tumbler unique for each and every OU home football game. Plus, with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you're helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. All right, time for some football, guys, talking basketball, and oh man. Thunder win game 5, 120 to 109 in what I assume will be known for the rest of eternity as the Jalen Williams game.
Ooh, man.
Whoa.
That was incredible. He had everything working,
Just
including defense.
Yeah, he's an incredible defender. He's like battling Siakam. The only person he couldn't guard was TJ McConnell. We'll talk about that later. No one could guard that man in that third quarter. That was amazing for him. I was just blown away. But just an all-time performance from J-Dub when the Thunder needed it most. 40 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and like you mentioned, Ted, some high-level defense as well. I saw this from Tom Habstro. Jalen Williams is the youngest player to score 40 in an NBA Finals game since Russell Westbrook in 2012. Before that, Magic Johnson in 1980.
Wow.
You forget he's only 24 years old.
I know.
It's only his third season, and he just had one of the best games we've ever seen from anybody in an NBA Finals game.
Yeah, incredible. And I think it was also like I guess it doesn't overshadow. Shea's been incredible throughout the series and had an incredible game himself. Is that the only duo other than LeBron and Kyrie to score 40 and 30 in a finals game, right?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw people ranking it third or fourth when it comes to the best performance by a duo ever in an NBA Finals game.
Yeah, crazy.
So I was there, and I just want to say, all-time performance from Jalen Williams, really good stuff from Shea, role players hitting threes. That was a massive lift, but that was an all-time performance from Thunder fans.
That's what when I said that felt significant, it felt like maybe because there's a feeling we're not going to see these guys again if they go win it in game 6, but that felt like you won the championship from the fans, just how loud it was and how crazy it was. Awesome.
Place was insane. There were, I would say, about 75%, 80% of the whistles I didn't hear at all. Like you couldn't hear the refs' whistles in there. It was just so many people stood up nearly the entire game, including the commercial breaks. No one gets after it like the Oklahoma City Thunder fans in a commercial break. No one. No other people rest and sit down, maybe catch their breath. No, no, no. We've got our little fan bambers and we're just getting it to whatever kind of house music the DJ decides to throw our way. It's fantastic. The vibes are immaculate during the timeouts. But, dude, that was just an all-time basketball atmosphere. Ted, I was in a full lather. Not like, oh, he's kind of sweaty. I'm talking if I didn't have the other shirt, like the free t-shirt over my shirt, people would have been honestly been concerned about my health, I think. Full saturated lather. It was I gave it all I had, man. I exerted as much energy as I ever had watching a game. It was so fun, a little ridiculous, but so fun.
You know what's funny is, when you go to training camp, the first week of training camp, all the coaches lose their voice because they haven't been yelling all, once you get to training camp, the voice gets in shape. Your voice has to be in shape right now for yelling.
There's no doubt. It is. I've gotten to the point where I have the confidence to just push through any concern.
Just let it go.
I bring gum, I bring cough drops, I bring mints. Like I take it very seriously. At no point do I want to be like, oh no, I'm gonna lose my voice and can't talk on the pod. No, no, no. There's some herbal tea that's involved as well. So it's all about preparation. If you're prepared, then you can perform, Ted. That's what I do.
When the time comes, you have to be able to sell out, right? So
yes.
You've got to callous the voice. You've got to get prepared. And it's hard to prepare for, a nice playoff run helps you get prepared for the finals, right? Like you in deep playoff shape right now.
There's also some very good 5 and 10-minute vocal warm-ups on YouTube. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Find your voice, folks. Find your voice.
Get the pipes ready. But I thought Aaron Wiggins and Cason Wallace hitting threes, that was huge. Wiggins was 4 of 7. Wallace was 3 of 4. And somehow, though, it felt like the Thunder were in full control of the game, and Siakam hits that three to make it 95-93 with 8.5 minutes to go. And we're all looking around like, wait, how did we get here? How is this a game?
How are they still hanging around?
They just will not die. And credit to them for that. The Pacers are a resilient group, man.
Well, and you talked about Wiggins and Wallace hitting the threes, and how many Dort had a couple too, right?
Yeah. Oh, I went and watched the game the next day. Dort got the Mike Breen bang treatment. That made me really happy.
He's like shooting over 50% from three in the finals, which is awesome.
And is also just a maniac. Like and I know Tyrese Halliburton was banged up, went down. It's really unfortunate. I did not want to see that happen. Like I don't think any Thunder fan did, but Dort has made his life miserable lately. Like he has just said, you're not going to score. You're not going to distribute. You're not going to get to do what you do. I'm going to be in your jersey all game long. It is fantastic to watch.
What I was going to say is, which I agree with everything you said. It's amazing how many different ways the Thunder can win. They won game 4 on the road. And what were they, like 3 of 16 or 3 of 18 from 3, something like that?
They made 3 3-pointers in an NBA Finals game in the year of our Lord 2025 and won on the road.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So it's crazy all the different ways that they can win. And I don't know, it's awesome. I mean, it helps those role players always say play better at home, and that factors in hitting those threes. Awesome.
Caruso didn't have it offensively, and he was visibly frustrated about it on the court, like in between whether it was free throws or just after he missed shots, like he knew how big the moment was, and you could just see him getting frustrated with himself. It didn't affect what he did on the defensive end. Like him basically swimming on the court to get that loose
Awesome.
ball in the fourth quarter was you. I it, I guess I don't really have a way to compare, but I think the argument can be made that Caruso swimming on the floor to get that loose ball in the fourth quarter is the loudest crowd pop you've ever heard for a non-shooting play.
Oh, maybe even for a shooting play.
Dude, the place erupted. It was so cool, and but it was also obviously a huge play in the game, but the crowd lost it, dude. Like that, we love Alex Caruso clearly
Oh
already,
man.
but that effort, the energy, the place just erupted. It was so much fun.
Well, it's a interesting dynamic that it feels like it's turned a little bit that they're so good defensively that it at least watching the game for me, and it feels like it listening to the crowd through the television speakers that those plays are even more rewarding for the fan base than the big offensive plays. Like it's everything that you want to see, right? It's a deflection and one guy hits the floor and the other, one guy doesn't hit the floor, right? And it just kind of tells the story. So cool.
It was fantastic. I saw some people saying, "Hey, build the statue of Caruso just sliding on the floor." It was awesome. But I I think my favorite part of the game was Siakam hits the three with a little over 8.5 to go. It's a 2-point game. And remember, the Pacers have had this reputation of being this team that finishes games. Like they have that reputation. We saw early in the season, early in the series, the Pacers pretty significantly outplayed the Thunder in the fourth quarters. But now it's back-to-back games where the Thunder have owned them in the fourth. Because after Siakam hits that shot, Thunder embraced the moment, man. Didn't get tight. In fact, they played their best basketball the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just some great defensive sequences. I think at one point the Pacers turned it over 4 straight times. And then you had J-Dub, Shea, Dort, like all hitting massive shots. Just a championship level finish after things got real tight there after that Siakam 3. And they just dominated the game the rest of the way. I was just losing it. I didn't know how to control my emotions as I watched this team just rise to the occasion, man. It was so cool to see.
Do you think there's been, because we talked about it, game 3, fourth quarter, Shea was spent, exhausted. And do you think that there's been I get my question, what have they done, you think, to change how they're feeling in the fourth? Because it's hard to play defense the way that they've played it for 4 quarters without guys getting exhausted. What do you think that they've done?
They've changed Shea's substitution pattern pretty significantly.
Yeah.
He like comes out early in the first quarter. And I think depending on how the game goes, like Mark tries to buy some time for him in the second quarter as well, like and go as long as he can from when he comes out in the first to when he brings him back in the second. It's really interesting. I think he just kind of does it by feel, but it's clear he wants to get him to the second half as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that that's been a big adjustment that Mark's made these last couple games, and it's paid off.
You can tell the difference for sure.
But I mean, really the difference when it comes to game 5 is some of these role guys just hit threes, man. I mean, it's not that complicated. They've got open shots and they're hitting them. Like if they're going to leave Wiggins and Wallace and Dort open, like you got to hit shots. And as the old saying goes, like role players play better at home in the playoffs, and those guys certainly look more comfortable shooting it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. And um, it feels like it definitely helps to be in your own place, and the confidence grows whenever you're making stuff happen. But I don't know, you feel like there's in a long series, and I picked the Thunder in seven. I still feel like we're going 7 games. But saying that, it and maybe it was just because it was at home and what you saw from the crowd, but that game felt like a big tipping point. And then you factor in Halliburton as well. But I don't know. You can oftentimes you can go back and kind of find a moment or something in a game, and in this case, you have a full series, and that felt very pivotal.
I think once this series is over, and I think the Thunder are going to win. I know what a bold take. I think we're going to look back at the fourth quarter from Shea in game 4 and go, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they won it. When he dropped 15 points in that fourth quarter on the road, you're down double digits, whole crowd is against you. And he was just, that is basketball at its highest level. I think that'll be something like once this thing is over, we're going to go that fourth quarter from Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in game 4 on the road is one of the best basketball sequences we've ever seen from a player.
Yeah.
But you got to
totally
finish the
agree.
job, Ted.
You got to finish the job. You got to finish the job.
How we feeling about game 6? We're making the trip. We're going.
You're going?
I'm going.
Kind of have to. Kind of have to.
That's what I'm saying. There's pros and cons to going and not going. And we talked it out. Like the pros of going is, hey, you're in the building, you get to witness history, the franchise's first title if they win. It's clearly going to be incredible. Like being at something like that in person, just you can't replace that. But you're also you're there's not going to be a bunch of Thunder people in that building.
No, there's not.
So you got to be wise, you got to be intelligent about how you handle yourself and conduct yourself, especially if the Thunder win the NBA Finals on their floor.
Yeah.
Got to make good decisions. Because you could be at home with a big group of your friends, everyone pulling in the same direction and just going crazy together. That's really, really fun. But the opportunity was there. I said, dude, we got to go. Come on. What are we even talking about?
Yeah, you got to witness something like that firsthand if you have the opportunity. There's no doubt. But you're right. Um, be smart in your celebration, right?
I am not trying to get assaulted by Pacers fans. I've got some awareness. It'll be
slightly outnumbered.
Now we do have some strength in numbers. If the Pacers fans want to fight us, they better be ready to scrap. Because we got a squad coming.
I'm
just kidding. We're not. I've told my wife there will be no fighting. Don't worry. Pacers fans seem like reasonable people. We'll see. But it is it's just the Oklahoma City Thunder are 1 win away from winning an NBA championship. It would have been ideal for them to win in 5. Like you think about game 1. If Halliburton doesn't hit that shot, then series is probably over and we were all losing our minds the other night. But I just want them to win. I don't care if it's 6. I don't care if it's 7. Like doing it in front of the home crowd would be amazing. But when you're just talking about one game, then you start talking about you start having a shooting variance conversation. And all the pressure would be on the Thunder in that game, being at home. Like I'm fine with them winning it on the road in 6, man. I'm fine with it.
Yep. You take it how you can get it. And
I think if you win in 6, your parade is Monday. If you win in 7, your parade is Tuesday. That's the only difference. I just wanted them to win.
Yeah. I think the most like the biggest storyline going in is what's up with Halliburton's calf strain, right? And
Yeah.
I know he went and got an MRI, and maybe there's news on that. I haven't seen anything, but that if they're going to be without him, and even if he's playing, what percentage do you get from him? Because he was ineffective in game 5. And even though they're going to get a boost at home, and Siakam is capable of some really fantastic performances.
He's so good, dude.
He is.
We have no answer for him. Like J Dub's done some good things on him. We don't have anyone that really matches up well with him. He is clearly the Pacers' best player. What he does defensively, what he does on the boards, like his shot making, dude, he's fantastic.
He's incredibly consistent too. He doesn't have a whole lot of massive up and downs. He's a guy that they can they can rely on game in, game out.
Is it crazy of me to be a little scared that if Halliburton is out, that means TJ McConnell's going to play like 40 minutes and he may score 40 points on us?
We One of the real cornerstones of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and this goes back a long time, is we are great at letting random players off the bench have career nights and putting together like 45-point games from who was that again? Who is that guy?
It's like, wait, is that JJ Barea again? No, it's TJ McConnell. To that dude's credit, that he kept them afloat. Like I firmly believe that's like a 20-point win for the Thunder if TJ McConnell doesn't do what he did in the third quarter of game 5. No one could guard him. No one. Yeah, I mean, he was blown by everyone. He put that spin movement on J-Dub, and I was like, oh, my goodness. And he, like, gave me a look after that one, like, yeah, pretty good, wasn't it? I was like, hey, man. I gave him you got it there, bud. He's been really, really good for him throughout the series. And honestly, it was obvious that Halliburton was limited. Like, he wasn't blown by anyone. And I thought Rick Carlisle did the Thunder a favor not bringing McConnell back in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The guy had just completely dominated the back half of the third quarter, and then he didn't get any run in the fourth until garbage time. I thought that was a big mistake, and I understand, hey, Halliburton's the face of your franchise. If he can play, you got to put him out there, but McConnell was clearly just a more effective player. I thought that was a big error from Rick Carlisle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. In the fact that Halliburton continued to play, I wonder. See, like I'm always been like, if you see a guy that's got a soft tissue injury and they're able to continue playing, then there can be some good quick recovery. But if you do something where you can't come back in a game, that's usually, at least in my experience, very telling. Like, it's either there or it's not. And if it's not there where you can't come back in a game, then it's hard to expect, 3-4 days later that you're going to be able to do anything of significance at all. But if you can continue playing, there's at least hope for a decent recovery before the next game.
He didn't look terrible out there by any means.
No.
Like he was moving fluidly, just not. He didn't have a ton of, let's call it, pace.
Yeah,
and
right? If you didn't know that he was injured, he's disappeared for big stretches in this series.
No doubt.
I mean, he is a big up and down player for them.
I do feel like in Game 6, Halliburton's going to be limited if he's out there.
Right.
You can maybe pencil him in for somewhere between 10 and 15 points. And so I think it's going to take a special Siakam game to beat us. He's just going to have to take it to another level, and his shot volume will be up because he knows coming to the game, like, hey, I got to do something special. They're going to have to rely on those role players hitting shots, like Ben Mathurin, Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, I would assume he'll get more minutes. Like those guys are going to have to hit open shots to beat the Thunder because coming into the game with the limited Halliburton, like you got to feel really good about the Thunder's chances of ending this thing in Indy.
We need our flight tracker friends out there to make sure there wasn't a PJ from OKC to Baton Rouge to get that Nussmeier shot for Halliburton before game 6.
Still one of the most. We thought the guy's season was over. It's like, oh, he separated his throwing shoulder. He's done.
You really hate to see it. Feel really bad. He's had a great season.
We basically wrote his obituary on the broadcast. Like, oh, that's awful. You never want to see that. He's a great player. He's got an NFL future. Hopefully it's not that serious. Hopefully he can get back. Wait, he's coming back. Oh my gosh, he's throwing it. What is happening? Just ripping it down I knew it was, we were in, do you remember this? He comes back out of the locker room. The first throw, he just grabs the ball and rips it like 30 yards on a line. I went, uh-oh, that's not good.
Not good.
It's like a warm-up throw. I clicked my mic on Ted. I don't like how that looks.
He's throwing fastballs down here. It's got some snap on it.
So Halliburton just comes out like he's just dunking all over the place.
I don't know. I feel good about it. It's weird to win a championship on someone else's court. It's just kind of a weird thing. You know, we're used to like a lot of neutral site championships like the Super Bowl and college football and all that stuff. So it's kind of a weird thing, but beggars can't be choosers. You take it any way you can get it. But I don't know. I don't care how they win it. I just like to see them win it, but it would be so much cooler if it was at home.
I just don't want it to come down to just one game, you know?
What, you don't want the drama? Come on.
No, I do, but I don't.
No,
I think every Thunder fan feels the way that I feel. Like I want them to win in 6. But man, winning in 7 would be sweet. You know, I feel like that's how we all feel right now. I think we're to the point where it's, hey, just win it. We're the better team. We're 1 win away. You got 2 chances, but just win it. However they win it, we're all good. Yep. But yeah, I think every Thunder fan would say, I want to watch them win it in Paycom Center.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything wrong with you saying that, but with the game 7 comes, some variables that, like if they hit 23s, there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? So that's where it's, when it comes down to just one game, that's when you get a little nervous in a good way, but a little nervous.
That's true. That's true for sure. If you can win the thing, go win the thing.
I feel like you want them to lose, and I don't like it.
I do not want them to lose.
Okay, good.
I do not want them to lose. I'm just trying to like play out the best scenario in my head, but that doesn't matter. Don't care about that. Win it however you can. And this is probably a conversation for another day, but I think the significance of it is, I think, so much bigger than it even feels right now. Like when you're in it, you don't want to jinx anything. You're just like, let's go win this thing. But if they do, and they win that championship, the significance of how incredible that is and what a big deal it is for this state is, I mean, it can't be overstated.
I cannot wait.
Yep.
All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
Oklahoma's favorite pub, Pub W, is a modern American pub offering a great new take on classic drinks and cuisine. They offer an extensive beer and specialty drink selection with something for everyone, and that's exactly why Pub W was voted best happy hour. And we all love a delicious brunch. Pub W brunch is served Saturdays and Sundays until 2 p.m. with some of the most delicious brunch offerings you'll find anywhere. Now open in Yukon, Oklahoma. Visit one of their 6 Oklahoma locations. Visit pubdub.com for locations and menus.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I had to go with Sophie Cunningham with the fever. How about that game last night? Was that wild or what?
I was watching it live. The amount of reviews, the amount of physical altercations, just fantastic.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do to protect your star, right? And they have, with the way that they've officiated it, they've kind of allowed some of this stuff to kind of fester, and that's what people are going to do. They're going to come after the star on the other team and do whatever they can to take that player out of the game. And they're going to take it all the way up to the line before people start getting tossed. And, you know, it, to some degree, you could say it's spun out of control, but it makes for riveting television right now for sure. And Sophie Cunningham said enough and just went ahead and tossed a girl to the floor, went for the, grab the back of the neck, pull her in, do something. Is that what she kept saying over and over? Do something.
She showed some. I think some people probably didn't think Sophie Cunningham had that in the bag. That was impressive.
I
Like,
saw
okay.
someone say this, that she's like the youngest black belt from, where is she from? Louisiana, like the youngest black belt ever. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but it looked like it. I'll take that and run with it.
She definitely looked like she knew what she was doing.
She did. There was no like totally calm and comfortable with whatever was going on there.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to figure out why she got ejected, and Mabry, when she body checked Caitlin Clark to the floor, didn't get ejected. That was a little interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you could tell in that game, usually the officials get a feeling of, being on the floor, hearing the chatter, what it's looking like. The officials typically grab a hold of a game like that pretty early to where it doesn't spin out of control, and they didn't. They weren't very, some of the hard fouls and different stuff. They just, if there's not severe consequences to it, people are going to keep doing it.
Yeah, it feels like it's good for the league and bad for the league.
It's bad for the league. You need to protect the star that everyone is watching to some degree.
What do you think? And I get that these women are in the WNBA. They're extremely competitive. Do you think some of them are like, guys, within the whistles, like, let's guard her, let's make her life miserable, but hey, maybe don't body check her to the ground. She's kind of helping all of us. You know what I'm saying?
She's our cash cow, which, it took the NBA a while to figure that out with Jordan. If you see like how Michael Jordan was fouled before they kind of started protecting their stars a little bit better, it was brutal. And it looks very familiar to what Caitlin Clark's going through.
Yeah. Fever are fun to watch though.
Oh, it's fun. It's great basketball. I
There
I enjoy it.
there was some jaw jacking going on in that game.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, a fired up Caitlin Clark is my favorite version of Caitlin
Oh my
Clark. I
God.
can tell you that for sure.
She hit that step back three, and I don't know who she was screaming at, but and then she got the crowd going. I mean, that's what you want. That's what you everything the WNBA has been waiting on, right? Like that's what you want for your league, and it's the best way to get a bunch of people that have never been fans or have never watched to tune in and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I think that Caitlin Clark has, I mean, undoubtedly the biggest following in the WNBA. And are her fans kind of like Taylor Swift fans, where now JC Sheldon and Marina Mabrey, it's like they're on the list? You know what I'm saying?
It kind of feels that way.
Or is it the entire Connecticut Sun team? I don't know how this works. I don't know how do the Caitlin Clark fans do they have a nickname?
I don't Clarkies.
The
I don't know.
Clarkettes?
Clarkettes. All I know is that database is filling up quickly with people that are on the list. You're going to
No
have to
doubt.
open up the a spreadsheet to keep the list going because it's pretty much everyone in the WNBA right now.
Yeah. That's interesting. All right, who do you have as your loser of the week?
Canada. Isn't it strange to have like there's a sport that you are known for that it's like America's pastime. It's labeled as baseball, but football is our thing. When you think about football, you think about the United States. When you think about hockey, you think about Canada. And I know it's a tough dynamic, but the fact that Canada hasn't won the Stanley Cup since 1993 is insane.
Florida Panthers are my winner of the week. You've
Whew.
done it again.
Mm,
Let's just knock it out here. That was in, the first couple games of that series, we were going, this is going to be amazing, man.
yeah.
Three out of the four Panthers wins were blowouts,
Yep.
smackdowns. Edmonton wasn't close to winning the Stanley Cup.
It's weird. And I thought this watching the game last night, and I felt it throughout but you just like in a series, you think, okay, well, they didn't have it tonight, you know, but it felt very early before that score even got close to where it was. It's like Florida is just easily the better team. You can see it almost the entire time they're on the ice. Edmonton is really good. They're in the finals, but there's just a different level with Florida, and you can see how hard it is for Edmonton to get anything going. And it's Florida, it's very easy for them to generate offense and just all facets of the game.
It is. I am not overly familiar with hockey history, but Sam Reinhart scoring 4 goals in the game to clinch the cup has to be way up there on all-time performances, right?
Incredible. Incredible. Yeah.
What
And
do you that what do you is there a word for a 4 goal game in hockey? I know everyone knows what a hat trick is. That's three. Is there a four?
there
Hat trick
has to
plus
be.
one?
There has to be. I
What's
don't
it
know.
called?
Well,
Give it a
let's
Google. Let me know.
um I don't know.
I mean, but that dude for Reinhardt, that's got to be way up there on the best feelings in sports.
Oh yeah.
4 goals in the game to clinch the cup. I mean, are you kidding me? I saw that he was the fourth player in history to have a hat trick in the clinching game, but I don't even know how many people have scored 4 goals in a Stanley Cup Finals game. Period.
Right.
A
Yeah.
handful, five,
That
six.
has to be incredibly what are 4 goals in hockey called?
Now this is good podcast.
Texas, a Texas hat trick.
That doesn't seem right.
Uh, I've never heard that before.
No, that's not right. If that was a thing, we'd know that phrase.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
not huge hockey guys, but we'd know if it was a thing. I've never heard someone say, "Oh, he had a Texas hat trick in my life."
It's like the most Texas thing of all time to try and like sneak in into hockey and claim something. Well, everything's bigger in Texas. So if you have a 4 goal hat trick, it's a Texas hat trick. Of course, Texas would do that.
Least surprising thing ever. We got a couple amazing games, but Panthers are just good, dude. And you mentioned Canada has not won, a Canadian team has not won the Stanley Cup since 1993. And meanwhile, now Sunrise, Florida is the center of the hockey universe. It could not be more opposite than Canada. Sunrise, Florida is the center of the hockey universe. Remember, they lost in 2023 in the Cup final, and they've won the last 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And we're officially on Dynasty Watch with the Florida Panthers.
It's wild. And, they were doing like crowd shots and stuff, between periods. And it's just funny to see everyone have like they've got their Panthers scarves and everything. It's like, hang on, it's 90 degrees outside right now there. It's interesting. But
hockey's interesting in general. They throw rats on the ice there.
they're the rat arena then, huh?
Yeah, and then they're the Panthers, but a lot of they go by cats. Like there's just a lot of nuances to Florida Panthers hockey. But yeah, Canada not winning one since '93 has to be incredibly frustrating for Canadians in general. But the fact that the state of Florida has become the dominant location for hockey has to make it even worse, because remember, that's 3 cup finals in a row for the Panthers. I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay went to the 3 before that.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is. I'm looking at the standings. Tampa Bay finished ahead of the Panthers in the standings in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, so it's the state of Florida is currently the dominant location for hockey. Because of course it is. That makes sense.
For hockey. You got to love it.
I just other than that, I think the only other thing from this series is Connor McDavid is now firmly in the best athlete to not win a title conversation, and I'm sure he hates that so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Incredible regular season for him. Everyone knows how good he is, but yeah, you're right. That's going to be the label until you get it done.
Bobrovsky just too much for McDavid to handle, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about defense, but Panthers defense seems really good. And then in that game, I was just, I pretty much watched the whole thing. Any mistake that Edmonton made defensively, it felt like the Panthers made him pay for it. Like if a guy got a little out of position, the first goal for Reinhart was just like, it's a turnover deep in their own zone. He like jukes the guy, goes across the net, backhand, forehand. You're just like, dang. It felt like any mistake that the Oilers made, the Panthers were like, all right, thank you. Back in the net.
Yeah. It's crazy. And how good has Marchand been in the finals?
Jeez. We've mentioned Reinhart and Marchand, and Bennett won the Conn Smythe. Like they just had dudes play out of their minds all playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know. It was incredibly impressive for them. And I don't know. You're right. Dynasty talk for sure has to be talked about with them. And who would have thought?
What is your definition?
Heat of Florida.
Yeah. Florida, the center of the hockey universe. What, 3 and 5?
3 and 5.
Official dynasty. Okay.
I think so.
Seems like They got a great chance of doing that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep. I don't know how hard it is in hockey to keep your core together. I ignorant when it comes to that, but if that group continues to play together, they are going to be very, very difficult to beat.
It's always difficult to beat a team that has a Kachuk because it starts with the T, and that's confusing. Just saying. That's my hockey analysis. We'll end it on that. All right. Ted stole my winner of the week, so we'll just do my loser. But first, 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, for my loser of the week, the 16-team college football playoff. We've got a CFP managers meeting going on in Asheville, North Carolina. So that's the 10 FBS commissioners and then the Notre Dame AD. And our buddy Brett McMurphy with some interesting reporting from some sources that told him, quote, conference commissioners have decided to start over on determining 2026 college football playoff format. He also added, the SEC wants more value given to strength of schedule metrics, something CFP executives discussed in today's meetings. However, a source cautioned, even if strength of schedule is supposed to carry more weight with committee, it still boils down to their opinions on who they think are the best teams. Deadline for finalizing 2026 CFP format is December 1st. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. You can't get these people to agree on anything.
You can't. And it's understandably whenever you've got so many different, everyone's trying to carve out a win for their conference or their group. It's so hard to get, because there's such a difference between what would be good for this group compared to what would be good for this group. And I mean, it's understandable that it's hard to hammer out anything to make everyone happy. And, the best teams are clearly in the Big Ten and the SEC. But the way it boils down, you don't have the most voices. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this thing plays out. And how much do the networks have a voice in what decisions being made here?
I would assume ESPN has a significant voice, right?
When you have billions that you're paying out, I would almost say that they should be able to pick the format, just say, here's what it is. Here's what we're going to pay you guys. And here's the format. Go play and have fun. We'll see who the best team is.
You would assume that since the SEC's sole broadcast partner is ESPN, that Sankey knows what ESPN wants.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a safe assumption.
I would think, yeah.
So I assume that ESPN has made it very clear what they would prefer. I do think I saw Ross Dellinger put out that Rich Clark, who's the CFP director, and his staff, like they've been studying ways to factor in team strength of schedule more to like it has more weight in the formula. Like they've used outside mathematicians to try to figure it out. So that feels like that is them trying to make the SEC happy. But I don't know. This feels like a mess. It just feels like a mess.
It is a mess. It is a mess. The easiest thing to me, and you may end up with this, is like the BCS formula or some version of that picks the 16 best teams in order, and that's who you go with. You know, you at some point, don't you kind of have to do that whenever there's so much. It's just incredibly hard. There's such a wide range of who plays who, and how do you factor in how good this team actually is? That's 11-1 compared to this team that's 9-3, and they didn't play. Like, how do you? What's the best way to wait that out? And I don't know that you're never gonna make everyone happy, especially when there's a human element, because whether there's bias there or not, there's always going to be a perceived bias against somebody, you know? So if you just lay out, here's the formula, we all agree on the formula, 16 best in the formula get in. I mean, to me, that's almost the way that you have to do it.
Oh, we know that these people there's nothing that leaders in college athletics like to do more than give up power. We know that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they'll say, yeah, let the formula decide. I don't like my free trips to the Gaylord,
No.
my buffets. It's
We've
not going to
gotta-
happen, man. You know that's not going to happen.
No, we got to committee the hell out of this thing.
Of course. That's
We
what the NCAA does. We committee.
We committee, we meet, we discuss, we don't reach a conclusion, and we set another meeting further down the road and another committee to review this meeting. Yeah,
The thing that has messed this whole thing up, and I say messed it, like the thing that has made this, I feel more up in the air about what the format's going to look like, is the fact that the SEC and Big Ten are no longer on the same page.
Yeah.
Because remember that all the reports were, hey, these two conferences are going to get you to determine what the format looks like. And we thought it was the 4-4-2-2 1+3 model. And then the SEC decided, no. You know, we're a 5+11 crowd. And now there's this whole discussion.
That was like a coach's thing, right?
Yeah, they're like,
wanted.
yeah, and they were very public about it. So it's, and did you see what Bielema said?
No.
So Illinois head coach Brett Bielema, and he's to the point in his career where he's been around so long, he's getting up there. He's like, I say whatever I want.
Yep.
Which I always enjoy.
Give a ripper on zero.
Yeah, he's had they had this thing called a Illini night at Wrigley Field on Tuesday, and he basically called the SEC out. And I wrote down the quotes. He said, we voted unanimously as Big Ten coaches to stay at 9 league games and actually maybe have an SEC challenge. I was told they voted unanimously to stay at 8, not play the Big Ten. But then some people pop off and say what they want to say because they look a certain way. He also added, I don't think there's any way we can get to a 16-team playoff if they are not at 9. And I get it, but like I think you get to 9 for everyone. I think until you get to 9 for everybody, I don't think it could work. So now you've got Big Ten coaches saying SEC needs to play 9 or no deal.
I understand that, but the SEC playing 9 is nowhere close to the same world as the Big Ten playing 9. Right? We agree on that? The Big Ten is way more top heavy than the SEC is. And it's not even close.
I think this would be the best exercise. Hey, Brett, right now, today, Illinois, you can switch your schedule with Oklahoma's schedule in 2025 right now. and only play 8 conference games. Right now. We are giving you the opportunity. We'll handle all the logistics. But the Illinois football team can switch schedules with Oklahoma's football team in 2025. We know that you think it's unfair that they only play 8. Hey, you play 9. We'll let you guys switch schedules right now. We all know what Brett Bielema would say. He'd say, hell no, I don't want that schedule.
Yeah, and I could pick 5 schedules from the SEC that he wouldn't want. He wouldn't want Alabama's schedule either. Right? There's Florida's schedule. And there's a bunch of them that are in there. And it's just
he may take Texas's. He may say, yeah, give me that one.
He would say, we'll take Texas's before you could even finish the entire sentence.
Because they got Ohio State on the schedule in 2025 anyways. He's like, yeah, we'll play in week 1. Sure. Why not? Yeah, give me Texas.
But the point is this is like, I understand the SEC's position. Like, if we go to 9 conference games and we've got a Big Ten crossover agreement, you have to give us something in order of teams making the playoff, because we're going to have a bunch of 9-3 teams, right? And if we're not protected with either a really strong strength of schedule inclusion in the formula or automatic berths, then we can't do it. Like, what are we talking about? It's not the same. It's not the same as the ACC playing 9 games and the Big 12 playing 9 games and the Big 10 playing 9. It's just not. And, I don't know. It's like I said, the formula is, as far as getting everyone to agree on something, is so hard because everyone has different interests and would benefit from a different format.
It'll be fine. Right?
I mean, we'll play some type of playoff next year. We may not know until, I know they've got until December to figure it out, but how crazy is that you've damn near completed a season and you're not sure what the layout and the format is to go win one the next year?
Dude, the House settlement got approved felt like 12 days before it's supposed to kick in. This is par for the course for college football's leadership.
You got to be nimble right now.
That's the thing. Like, this is the perfect example of the lack of leadership in college football. There's not someone at the center of it looking out for everyone and trying to push everyone to be on the same page and compromise and all those things. There's not that central figure.
No.
And this is what you get.
Really, in order for it all to make sense and everyone's interest is being looked out for, the only way, in my opinion, that you can do it is if you play 8 conference games, well, I guess if you play 9 conference games, your 3 non-conference have to be with a team each from, like, for the SEC, your non-conference needs to be the Big 12, the Big 10, and the ACC. And everyone does that, and you have actual data and metrics that you can go back and look at, and you should play the games not 1, 2, 3 to start off the year. It should be dispersed throughout the year to where, teams aren't the same in September as they are in October and November. So it doesn't always tell the true picture. Those games should be split throughout the schedule, and you have metrics to look at and say, okay, we can kind of compare. This team is right now at this place in the Big 12, and they played this team that's at this place in the SEC. You can grab a picture of who is actually where, instead of saying, well, we played this and we beat that team by that. You can actually compare it. But the problem in that is you got the group of five or whatever they're called that is like, well, hello, what where do we fit in? Well, you don't. And until we get to that, I don't think that there's ever going to be a formula that everyone's happy with. And they would probably not even be happy with that, I guess.
Ultimately, this thing's all coming down to money. Whatever whatever can make the SEC and the Big Ten the most money is probably going to be the final format.
The networks should just go around everyone else and just say, oh, by the way, here's the format for next year's playoff if you want to be on TV.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate for it to stay at 12. Now that they fixed the seating thing, like okay, whatever. I guess that's one of the options is, hey,
we got to see it play out this year. We may hate it this way too. We'll see.
There's not going to be a format that everyone likes.
Yeah.
16, 12, 8, we'll see. I think the one thing you could say is it's not going to shrink. Like they're not going to play less college football because then they would make less money, Ted, and that's not an option.
Yeah. Not an option.
Not an option. So, I think we'll get to 16, but it seems like there's some work to be done by these commissioners to figure it out.
I personally would like to see 9 conference games and a crossover with the Big Ten. And however they get to that, I would be happy. But I mean, ultimately, I guess I'll be happy with anything. But if I want more good games, and I think a lot of people want more good games, and to me, that would be the most fun. And I don't know what concessions they'd have to give in order to get to that, but that's what I'm hoping for.
I feel like that's what the players would want. No one ever talks about the players and all this. It's all commissioners, athletic directors, coaches. If you're a player, yeah, I want to play in all the big games. All of them. Sign me up.
I'd like to know why, like how the SEC coaches got to the point where they're like, no, we don't want that. I don't know.
It's simple. Another conference game is another opportunity to lose a game and another opportunity to lose a game, which leads to you losing your job.
Yeah.
It's that simple, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather play a cupcake game than play another SEC game because I like making millions of dollars coaching football and I don't want to lose my job. I think it's that simple.
Yeah. Because college football is still kind of in this weird spot where, if you're a top 15 type of program, you have to be 10-2 or 11-1 for your fans to feel like you've had a successful season. And that metric is getting more and more difficult to live up to for everyone.
I think that perception is going to change.
It needs to, or else coaches will never agree to something like we're discussing.
Yeah. There's going to be and I think it's going to mainly be with like a fan base. You have to start viewing college football more through an NFL lens.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you're an SEC team and you go 9-3, depending on what your schedule is, you're going to go, that was an awesome season. When only a couple of years ago, if a Bama or Georgia lost 3 games, the fan bases would have gone, what is wrong with this team?
Hot seat.
Fire everyone. I think those days are going to end soon. I saw Sark a couple weeks ago said, hey, I don't think there's ever going to be an undefeated national champion again.
Yeah.
Which we'll see. But I think it may take some time, but fan bases, and I include like university leadership in this as well. Like the perception of what a successful season is going to change.
Yep.
We'll see.
I agree.
Birthday shout outs. Happy 25th birthday to TJ Clark.
Happy 40th birthday to Ryan Charles Walker.
And happy birthday to Christina Bailey. On that note, episode 538 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Hopefully, we're celebrating.
Hopefully we are.
Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com, for all of our stuff in one spot. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.